Let me give you some excellent hot tips to help you become more effective with ChatGPT really fast. And these are some tips and ideas that I use every day as far as interacting with ChatGPT. So let me share some of those with you here real quickly. And let's use an example to walk through the tips. We'll go through this example and use how we can use ChatGPT and these tips in different manners all throughout this kind of running example. And let's pretend that your manager, your boss, comes to you and says, hey, I heard this thing about Enneagrams, something like personality tests or whatever. Sounds pretty interesting. Hey, in 2 hours, when we get all our team together for the team meeting, could you give a little summary of what Enneagrams are? Look it up, find out about it, and give a little summary for our meeting in 2 hours. Okay, would that be great? Hey, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. You're doing a great job. Right? And then the boss leaves, or you're done talking to the boss, and you think to yourself, what the what? I got a lot to do. Now I've got to prepare something in 2 hours for a presentation, and I don't even know what an Enneagram is. So this is a great opportunity where, hey, maybe I'm going to leverage ChatGPT to help me create some stuff around that. And now we're going to learn some hot tips around this example. Okay, I'm in ChatGPT and I put in a prompt here. And I basically, sometimes this is the first tip is giving context. You don't have to give context. You could just ask this part here. What is an Enneagram personality test? Right? You could just put that in there. But by giving context as a hot tip, it gives you a little bit more to ChatGPT in terms of what your manager and you got to do a presentation. So later on, that might be helpful for you. And I'm just going to submit that. And this is all here in real time, basically. So it's going to basically do this real quickly. I'm in the pay version. The free version actually produces probably even faster. It might not be as complete or as good a quality as the pay version, right? But I would always recommend try the free version first. It might work great for you. I used the free version for the longest time. And then I moved on to the pay version because I'm a pretty power user, ChatGPT, right? How surprising. So here it basically tells me what it is. It's a popular framework for understanding human personality, motivation, and behavior. And there's these different categories, right? So there's these key features. There's 9 personality types, wings, all sorts of stuff. And it gets into all the stuff, like what are the 9 Enneagram personality tests, or personality types, excuse me. And it goes into that and it's giving me these 9 types. And you can see it's still going. It's going to go out here and do all 9 of them for me here. And one thing you can do too is as it's going, you could always stop it as well. If you say, hey, that's good enough. I don't need any more. I just want to learn this first part or whatever. You could stop that as well. And now it's completed here with these 9 types of things. And would you like help creating slides for your presentation? I can include visuals and explanations for each type. And I would say, maybe I would say to that, I might want to just regenerate. By the way, I can also just say, no, I didn't like this, give the model feedback. No, I didn't like this. I could copy it. I could edit it. I could do different things in here as well. But let's say I like that. Okay, let's help create some slides. Maybe I'll just answer yes. Let's see. ChatGPT know that I would like to create slides and maybe include some visualizations. And the answer is yes. See, it's creating an Enneagram presentation for me. Why? Because ChatGPT is a chat type based model, like chatbot, or maybe another way to think of it. So I'm having a conversation with it. So if it prompts me with something that might be a good idea, I could just say yes. Now, if it didn't prompt me with this, I actually have in my notes here of things to talk about. I have actual notes of things I want to share with you. But that was one thing, was creating a presentation using ChatGPT, where it's basically creating out these slides, right? So this is the different slides. Slide 1, what is it, how it works, the 9 personality types, and it goes into all these different things, like the reformer, their core fear, desires, strengths, challenges, etc. And this will continue on, and it'll use visuals because it'll leverage DALL-E to create visuals, or I could have it create visuals too. But I'm just going to stop it here right now. And because I don't really need that. You get the idea that I could create the slides for me. So I'm back where I was. So it changed my mind. Now, one thing you can also do is I could ask it to expand in a section. Like maybe I want to learn more about number 2, the helper, the giver. This is a nice bullet point thing. But maybe I could ask it to tell me more. So tell me more about number 2. Now, I could put in there about what was number 2? That was the helper, right? Excuse me. The helper, the giver. But it knows because I'm in that chat that I'm asking about number 2. And so it gives me this core motivation, core desire, and then giving me an overview, key traits, even give me a little check mark here, or the red dot here that might look similar or different to yours. It's always changing, always updating. Strengths of type 2, and it's going to keep going on, challenges of type 2. So now look how much Look what it was before, where it was just giving me a nice little summary for number 2, 4 bullet points, to now it's really building that out. And all I had to type in was a simple, tell me more about number 2, or tell me more about the giver. And now it's built that out. So that's one thing too, as a hot tip, is to keep building on what you're already doing, keep building on what it is. And you could also reformat things. Another tip is you could reformat everything. I could say, give me the top traits list in a bullet point format, as opposed to a number format. The number works better because the traits were all numbered. Oh, it's saying that it's looking at number 2, so I need to be more specific. I wanted the other one, but it gave me this now. But it's the same thing. This is where you're learning, right? You can say, oh, I really wanted more of the overall thing, but this is actually good. So now I have the top traits more in a bullet point format. So here you have all these traits. Would you like me to format these into your slides, into a slide for your presentation? And I say, I could do that, but you can always change the formatting to something else. I'd say, please make as a table. Maybe I want it as a table, and I could have it be a table. Probably need a better, different way of doing it, but here's a nice little basic table where I'd have the trait and a short little description. All I did was type in, please make as a table, right? So now it's created this as a nice little table for me that I could then paste into a PowerPoint, or I could include into the slide presentation, whatever. Well, adding emojis. They didn't use added emojis as much. That looks like they're going a little more active on the emoji action. Another hot tip I really like to use is examples. So I could say, give me an example of what someone would, would be like if they were number 2, right? If they were number 2. And I just hit the enter key, by the way, so the submit there, but I could also click on it too. Here it gives me the caring colleague, right? Meet Sarah, the helper at work. This can be good for like marketing, like developing personas, or anything where you're trying to describe maybe a customer or whatever. You can start leveraging these things. Give me an example of a person, or give me an example of a situation. So I like looking at examples or leveraging examples as far as that. And so then this gives a little thing here. And that's at work. They're always checking in on coworkers. They build strong relationships. They feel deeply appreciated. They struggle to say no, and they get emotionally drained when they feel unappreciated. So if you're maybe managing a person like that, this is a good thing to know if you're looking about that personality trait. So remember, I've been asked to prepare this for the boss, for the manager, so now I can start talking to these things, and maybe I use that example in my presentation. Or I might say, Naveen over here, say type 2 or whatever. And then it goes into some more stuff. Oh, famous type 2 examples. So Oprah Winfrey, Dolly Parton, Mother Teresa. All right. So that's interesting. I didn't ask for that. That was a nice little bonus type thing. But I could ask her, can you give me some famous people? Maybe I create a slide with a picture of Oprah Winfrey and then talk about what she's a type 2. And then you could keep expanding on this or taking different options. Okay, I'm creating this. I'm learning. This is more learning. I'm creating these different things. I could create a PowerPoint slide. I've created that table. But maybe I want to take that information and create something new. So maybe I want to create a blog, right? Maybe I want to create a blog on number 2. And maybe I would give it more information around that blog. We'll hit submit here. But let's just say I want to create a blog on number 2. Now, if I want to be more specific, create a blog on number 2 for somebody who works in healthcare, or for somebody who is a nurse or something like that. That could be better actually, and be more specific, where this is going to be a little bit more broad-based, boring, or whatever, right? It talks about the personality format, and it's basically taking this, see how it's leveraging my table, and it's creating this in a basic, boring blog type format. So maybe I want to change that. I'll hit stop, and I'll say, where it says create a blog on number 2, maybe I could say, I can edit my message here, what I prompted, and stop generating, because I hit the stop generating button, I hit the button to stop it. Let's say I want to edit this and say, create a blog on number 2 in a friendly, and let's say humorous tone, okay? So before it was just give me the facts, right? Businessy, this is what it is, blah, blah, blah. But if I'm writing a blog, maybe I want it to be a little bit more fun or more interesting to read. You can see here where it's got versions. See how it's 2 of 2? I could go back to number 1, or what was already written with number 1, which was written briefly, and I stopped it. But if you had written already something and you wanted to redo it, just ask it to redo it, say, please rewrite or regenerate. Do it, and then you'll have where that number is where you can have different versions. So this should be something that's more friendly and maybe a little humorous, like Enneagram number 2, the helper, the friend you always wanted, right? So there's a title for it. And it says, so say you met someone who remembers your birthday without Facebook reminders. Is that a thing you can remember without Facebook reminders? Brings you soup when you're sick and all that. You just encountered a number 2, the helper. Type 2s are basically the human embodiment of a warm hug. Oh, isn't that nice? Warm hug. And it gets into what makes them tick, and you can, a day in the life, all sorts of stuff, and you can build from there as well. So the idea is, all I did was I changed my prompt from being just that kind of give me the facts, ma'am type of thing to being more descriptive. And the more you can be descriptive in your prompts, whether it's giving context or providing what you want it to be, friendly, whatever it might be, you can do that for you. I'll stop that one too, so since we get the idea. And it's also really good at giving me options, right? Or giving me different brainstorming ideas. So you could say, give me a list of something. Give me a list of 10 blog titles for number 2. Again, I could be more specific and say the helper, but it's no, I'm talking about blog number 2 because I'm in this chat. If I started a new chat and said, tell me about number 2, ChatGPT would be confused. And it wouldn't be in that chat. I'd have to establish the chat first. So here's 10 engaging blog ideas for number 2. The friend you wish you had. They always remember to bring you cake. Here, how to embrace your inner helper. We want to know what to say out loud, right? So you could say, okay, give me 10 more or whatever. And even from this, would you like me to draft a post based on these? So it's really trying to interact and anticipate your needs too. Much better than it did in the beginning, by the way. And one thing you can also do as well too is changing the tone of stuff as well. So let's say I like these titles. I'd say, give me 5 titles in a scary but fun tone. All right. So we're going to go from warm, fuzzy hugs to, oh, this is scary, but we're going to have a little fun with it too. So we're asking ChatGPT to change the tone. Changing tone can be real helpful if you have a trouble writing maybe, or writing something professionally, or writing something maybe when you're emotional. I have that. If I get upset about something or I'm angry at something, like I can fire off these just crazy emails, and I usually stop myself and rewrite it. But now I can use ChatGPT to really help me write a first draft that's better. I've actually fed in emails to, this is what I wrote, and ChatGPT's come back and said, Steve, you seem to be a little upset. I actually said you seem to be upset. Well, I am upset. And it helped me rewrite that in a more professional and more effective manner. So what did come back here? 5 spooky yet fun blog titles, The Haunting of Enneagram 2. You can't stop helping, from Scott Green. Doomed to say yes forever. Unleash the giver. You won't stop caring. Give until they vanish. When type 2 is give until they vanish, oh, it's like the spontaneous combustion. And they know what you need before you do. Beware, they know what you need before they do.